Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Once again, I welcome you all to the Division N Evaluation Marathon Day 2. Dr. Distinguished Toastmaster Ralph Smedley, in his book Personally Speaking, said, and I quote, "No Toastmasters club is fulfilling its obligation to its members unless it brings them the maximum of training in the art of constructive criticism." Criticism, as Dr. Smedley referred to speech evaluation, has been an integral part of the Toastmaster program since the organization's inception. This is how members truly learn and improve, by standing up and speaking and receiving feedback, encouragement, and suggestions. Evaluation is at the heart of experiment learning, which is what distinguishes Toastmasters from other organizations in similar fields. Constructively evaluating fellow members is a skill, one that we all learn through participation. Those who receive evaluation grow as a speaker, communicator, and leaders. Those who give evaluation develop a skill that is valuable in all areas of life. The position that Toastmaster International takes is the decision about the use of voice by an evaluator is up to each evaluator. And then both perspectives have considered considerable merit because each speaking situation and the speech is unique. Let me tell you all the flow and rules for the marathon. There will be a test speaker who will present their speech. Evaluators can make notes during that time. Once the speech is done, Zoom Master will send all the evaluators along with Saturday arms and timer 2 to breakout room where they will get 5 minutes to complete their evaluation. While in the breakout room, contestants will keep the microphone and the cameras turned on, hands in the range of the camera and not use any electronic device. Once 5 minutes are over, time shall indicate to stop writing. The first contestant shall be moved to the main room with the timer. The remaining contestants shall keep their audio and video on throughout their presence in the breakout room. Their hands shall be visible at all times. Each evaluator will be observed 1 minute of silence for the super evaluator to mark their feedback. After last evaluator will observe 3 minutes of silence for the super evaluator to complete their evaluation. Then we'll invite our super evaluator to present their feedback, and after that we'll proceed to the certificate presentation. Our super evaluator for today is Distinguished Toastmaster Joy B. Hans. He's a member of Auxiliary Mayapur to Hyderabad Club and the current Program Quality Director of Division of District 98. I'm sorry for that. Personally, he's a behavior coach. He believes talent takes you up, but character keeps you there. His hobbies include traveling, reading, marathon running, and playing guitar. We welcome you, Distinguished Toastmaster Joy, to the Division F in Evaluation Marathon. Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Joy. Now let's begin with the day 2 of our evaluation marathon. Now please help me welcome our test speaker for today, Toastmaster Vamshi. Toastmaster Vamshi, can we please take your audio and video?
Check. Am I clearly audible and visible?
Yes, you are. Timer, can you please share the timing cards? Toastmaster Gunjan, am I audible to you?
Timer, can you please share the timer cards?
Just a moment.
Yeah, sure. Toastmaster Vamshi, is the timer cards visible to you?
Yes.
Toastmaster Vamshi, Asian battles, Toastmaster Vamshi.
I request you all, please switch on the video if possible. Now, close your eyes. Imagine you are not in a battle, but in a jungle thousands of years back to witness an event that made an ordinary person a legend. Hercules and a troop of 15 gods had come to this jungle. A day's ride from Athens to kill a man-eating beast that was tormenting villagers in the air. Hippolyta had insisted on accompanying Hercules. 7 tents have been built in the forest cave. Each tent was manned by Athens' gods. A bait, a small little goat, has been tied in the open. Keeping the weather in mind, a small water hole had also been dug, lined with waterproofing. If not the meat, perhaps water would entice the beast. Listen, whispered Hippolyta. I was thinking. Hippolyta felt silent as Hercules raised a finger to his lips. Then Hercules turned around. Two guards sat on the other side of the tent. Using hand signal, he gave quick orders. Silently, they crawled up to his side. Hippolyta moved. Hercules picked up his bow and noiselessly drew an arrow from the quiver. Did you see something, sir? Whispered a god. Hercules shook his head to signal no, and then cupped his ear with his left hand. The gods strained their eyes but could not hear anything. One of them spoke in a faint voice. I don't hear any sound. Hercules cocked the arrow on the bowstring and whispered, it's the absence of sound. The goat has stopped bleating. He's scared stiff. I bet it's not an ordinary predator that the goat has sniffed. The gods drew their bows forward and knocked the arrows quickly and quietly. Hercules thought he caught a fleeting glimpse of small heads from the behind foliage. He took a look hard. Slowly, he began to discern altering brownish orange and black enchanted heads in the dark shaded area behind the tree. He focused his eyes, noticed the moon. Hercules point. The guards noticed it as well. Its well camouflaged chimera. It was a monstrous fire-breathing hybrid creature composed of parts more than one animal. It's a lion with head of a goat protruding from its back and the tail that ends with a snake's head. Hercules raised his hand, signaling for quiet. He held the bowstring, put faintly, ready to shoot at the first opportunity. After few long moments, the chimera stepped into the view, itching slowly towards the water. It saw the goat, ground softly, and turned attention back to one. The goat, whose collapsed on the ground in absolute terror. It closed its eyes and surrendered itself to the fate. The camera did not seem interested in the petrified fish. It kept lapping up the water. Hercules pulled the ocean back completely. Suddenly, there was a soft sound from one of the tents. Camera looked up in an instant alert. Hercules cursed under his breath. The angle wasn't right, but he knew Camera would turn and flee in moments. He released the arrow, thick and deep. It whizzed through the clearing and slammed into the beast's shoulder, enough to enrage, but not disable. The chimera roared in fear, but its roar was cut short suddenly by an arrow into the mouth. Within split seconds, so many arrows slammed into the mighty big cat. Some hit the eye, others abdomen. 20 more arrows pierced and severely injured the beast. Chimera raised its head last time. Hercules fell. It's the final moment of the end. My apologies, noble beast, but it was either you or the villagers under my protection. The Chimera's head dropped, never to rise again. May the soul find the purpose once again. This is the day where Hercules became the legend. Over to you, moderator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vamshi, for such a beautiful speech. Now I request the Zoom Master to please send all the evaluators, sergeants at arms, as well as the timer 2 to the breakout room. Inform me when that is done.
The breakout room is open. Requesting participants Sergeant Arms 2 and Timer 2 to please join the breakout room. Sergeant Arms 2, Toastmaster Anubhuti, please join the breakout room. Moderator, all the participants along with Sergeant Arms and Timer are in the breakout room.
Thank you, Zoom Master, Toastmaster Yash. Now I request you to please share the certificate for the test speaker. Toastmaster Vamshi, can you please on your audio and video for me? So, hello, Toastmaster Vamshi. Here I am to just have a quick interview with you. I just wanted to ask, how was your experience?
Hercules fought one camera, and today I have to fight 4 or 5 cameras here. You can't imagine how scared I am. But it's a battle to become.
Sure, I can understand that. Okay, so my second question is, what's your hobbies?
My hobbies. Okay. I think I should give a speech of my hobbies. It would be more than 7 minutes.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, mostly I attend Toastmaster meeting. I would say it is a hobby because I love Toastmasters. Then cooking. I love cooking, and not regularly, but at least once in 2 to 3 days I cook.
Okay, so what's your favorite food so that I can ask you to cook for anyone and like we can have a lunch or something?
My favorite food. Wow, tricky question. I have a lot of things in my favorites. The easy one I would say pasta.
Okay. At least I'm not the only one foodie in the room, so I'm happy for that.
I'm sure in the list at least we have maybe 12 or 13 people I know who are foodies. Okay, I'm not taking names, don't worry.
Okay, thank you so much, Toastmaster Mamchi. Thank you, Toastmaster Yash. Toastmaster Mamchi, please accept the token of certificate, token of appreciation from our side. Thank you so much for taking the role and delivering such a wonderful speech. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mamchi.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Time Toastmaster Gunjan, notify me when the 5 minutes are up so that we can call our first evaluator.
Sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Toastmaster Gunjan. Now I request the Zoom master to please call evaluator number 1.
Toastmaster Bhumi, the 5 minutes are not up. I'll show a red card at the end of 5 minutes.
Oh, sure. Sorry, my bad. Thank you, Toastmaster Gunjan. Thank you, timer Toastmaster Gunjan. Now I request the Zoom master to please call evaluator number 1, Toastmaster Mayur in the main room. Hi, Toastmaster Mayuri. Can we have a quick audio and video check?
Good evening. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, you are. Can you see the timer cards?
Now I can. Yes, I can.
Thank you. Evaluator number 1, Toastmaster Mayuri. Toastmaster Mayuri, evaluator number 1.
Thank you. Very warm good evening to all present and a very particular warm evening to Toastmaster Vamsi, our target speaker for today. Thank you, Toastmaster Vamsi, for once again bringing to highlight the legend of Hercules, someone whom we'd all grown up reading while we were kids. So with great interest, I listened to the title of your speech, which said Asian Battles, when the contester announced you. And I was waiting to know more. Little did I know that it would lead us to Hercules. But then when she said Asian battles, I was looking for some kind of battle. And after that, I really liked the way you asked the audience to first switch on the video, that too in a virtual background, virtual world, and of course, led them to imagining something. So that was a very good beginning because you needed to capture the attention of the audience, and that is how a good speaker begins. And then, of course, even I was agog and waiting to see what Toastmaster Vamsi is all doing and talking about. Initially, there were a few hiccups about the audio video, and I had trouble understanding, but that's probably my end. So I will not really evaluate that portion of your speech. But I will come down to the content of the speech and the way it was delivered, because that's what we're all over here for. I'll first cover the delivery portion. So, of course, you were standing, which is thank you for standing and delivering your speech. And also that you moved back and forth, use your hands, the raise and the high and the low of the intonation of your voice was all on point. Because, and here I come to my second part, Toastmaster Vamsi, I felt that this was more like interpretive reading, which means that you were actually reading the whole thing. And your eyeballs were also moving in line with the reading, which is perfectly fine. So as an audience member, I could really see that you were reading the whole thing, and it was perhaps meant to be as a story. So that's where come my recommendations. I was caught off guard because I did not know why are you reading and why is it that you're narrating a story. And I was waiting for the story of Hercules the legend to come to an end somewhere midway, and then you take over. You know, where Toastmaster Vamsi will tell us about how he was influenced by the story, how it transformed him, or what happened in his life. So I was really waiting to see and hear something on those fronts. So that comes to my recommendation now I'm moving to that portion. I would suggest seriously that when you take up such a project where you are going to be reading out the whole story, it would be nice if the audience is made aware of what exactly it's going to be. Because we don't want to be caught unawares and then someone comes and just narrates the whole story. Because ultimately, this is a story which we can actually Google, find in our books on the internet. So I was really hoping to see where Toastmaster Vamsi's personal appreciation of the story or interpretation of the story comes in. And to the end, I was waiting and waiting and waiting, and that did not happen because you told us the story which is already available everywhere. So I was hoping to see something on your inputs, your understanding of the whole story. So there was great vocabulary and wonderful usage of English grammar used, but it was not yours. It was written by somebody else, and then it was narrated by you. So I was really waiting to see a little bit about the introduction, the title of the speech, Asian Battles Come In. I did not know where that fit in because I did not hear any reference to the title towards the end. So I will say that I would have really, to summarize, excellent delivery, Toastmaster Vamsi. But I would say on the content part or the structure part, half the speech could have been devoted to the story of Hercules, the other half on your interpretations. That would have made a fantastic speech. So thank you, and back to you, Conestelle.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mayuri. Now we will have a minute of silence for Super Evaluator to mark their feedback. Hi, Toastmaster Syed. Can we please have a quick audio and video check?
Am I audible and visible? I'm obviously visible, but am I properly audible?
Yes, you're properly audible as well as visible. Can you see the timer cards?
Yes, I can see the timer start.
Thank you. Evaluator 2, Toastmaster Syed, Evaluator 2.
Moderator, could you please pin the Toastmaster Vamsi? I'm not able to see him.
Toastmaster Vamsi, can you please on your camera? Thank you.
Thank you. Before starting, I would like to give some small observation that I had of the entire speech. The first thing, I can see that you are standing and giving your speech. It's obvious. But the thing is, and at the same time, you were moving around. So it was good. Kudos to you that you used your stage. But one thing that I felt, and the reason that made my evaluation job really hard, was your voice was not audible. I guess it was because of your mic, or it could be any reason. I tried to see if there is some technical issues from my side, but it wasn't. So please make sure that you either use another mic, or just don't rely on the default version. Now, moving on to the major evaluation. One thing I really loved, see, you were not properly audible to me, but the thing that I really loved the entire speech, your expression, because your expression of pulling and bow like this and doing all that stuff made it clear that you are telling a story. Only if you're audible, if you were audible now, the entire story would make it charismatic. Because the thing is key, your actions, your movement, you move left to right, you use the entire stage. Even though I just felt like there's sometimes when you were out of the camera, you could have, your hands were like this when you were pulling the strings. So only if you could just do a practice session with this sessions, because that was the best thing I loved your entire speeches. But at the end of the speech, I used the different device to make sure that I could hear you. I heard the entire story about Hercules, as I'm really a good fan of Hercules and Greek mythologies. So I got into your story, not just because because I love the story, because you were there in the story. Like you said yourself at the end, it felt like you were the main character. You said it yourself. It's either you or the villagers I'm protecting. So it felt like you were in the story. So that made a lot of things. But the thing I just wanted to suggest is, when you were transition between the enemy camera and Hercules, you could have used the transition words like whereas, Hercules, some word as whereas, furiously, Hercules. So that gives an emotion to the character you are introducing. So this adds up storyline. So that's it from my side. I felt like your speech was great. You just need to make sure that from the next time you are there with your proper audio and your visibility was good. Great. Thank you. Back to the moderator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Syed. Now we will have a minute of silence for Super Evaluator to mark their feedback. Hi, Toastmaster Bhavini. Can we have a quick audio and video check?
Hello, Toastmaster Bhumi. Am I clearly audible and visible?
Yes, you are. Can you see the timer cards?
Yes, I can see them.
Yeah, thank you. Evaluator number 3, Toastmaster Bhavini. Toastmaster Bhavini, evaluator number 3.
Toastmaster Vamsi, I am going to slightly alter one of my favorite dialogues from Marvel movies. With great thinking comes great imagination. And that is what you started your story with. You made us all close our eyes and imagine the story of someone who became from a normal person to a legend. And that is where you had slid the audience right into your pockets. From there on, we were all on board on the journey of the wonderful story that was about to unfold. What I also liked is that you had so many words in your vocabulary, words like monstrous, hybrid, protruding, faintly, pierced, and so many more, which just made your speech more vocabulary rich. And along with that, because it was major part of the speech was storytelling, what I loved was that it was perfectly coupled with your gesticulation and expressions. You were building the curiosity and the excitement with the help of your gestures. So we could anticipate the curiosity, the fear, the different adrenaline movements in your story. So good job done there. Now let's talk about the areas of improvement. First, I would always recommend that your opening should not be more than 30 to 40 seconds, and then you should slid into your transition and then the body. But your opening felt like a never-ending thing which went on for the entire speech. So I would recommend choose a much shorter anecdote, because that will help the audience grab you. It will help you grab the attention and then move on to the other things. If someone loses the interest in the first 1 minute, they will lose interest for the entire time. So use shorter stories. Second, I would emphasize, and I would really encourage you to have more time for your conclusion. Because remember, conclusion is the part where you summarize everything and lay emphasis to your message. What is the call to action that you want to drive to the audience? In this case, it was inspiring people that from one action or one thought, you can become from a normal person to a legend. So you could drive that call to action, which I think was not, justified enough in the last moments of the speech. Last, it was a great speech and a great storytelling, but unfortunately, I couldn't hear most of it. And it was because of your voice clarity coupled with your voice modulation. So I would recommend you to enunciate the words so that they come across clearly. And also in your sentences, the later half was kind of, feeble, and we were not able to understand it. So record yourself and see where you are actually audible and where we are losing out and your voice is becoming feeble. Overall, the best part of the speech were the uses of pauses, and you use them to create curiosity, which is very essential in the art of storytelling. You had great imagination, very nice words, great gesticulation, and spot-on expressions. If you could just work on the opening and conclusion, the time that it should need, and voice clarity coupled with voice modulation, you will become a much better storyteller. All the best. Over to you, moderator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bhavini. Now we will have a minute of silence for Super Evaluator to mark their feedback.
Am I audible?
Yes, Toastmaster Khushi, please wait for a minute. Toastmaster Khushi, can we have a quick audio and video check?
Am I audible and visible?
Yes, you are. Can you see the timer cards?
Yes, they are visible.
Thank you. Evaluator number 4, Toastmaster Krishi. Toastmaster Krishi, evaluator number 4.
Mr. Contest, Miss Contest Chair, judges, and fellow Toastmaster, and especially Toastmaster Vamsi. So, greetings everyone, and let's talk about his evaluation process. Let me talk about the wow moments. First of all, great start. Like you talk about the exercising, like close your eyes. It really helps a lot because it exactly grabs the audience attention. And first of all, great start. You started your speech with a full confidence. And you know what is the best part of your speech? Storytelling approach. Like it is an amazing way to talk about your own experience or any story, like through the stories. And let me tell you, the most funny part is talking about your own experience or any story. You don't forget your speech. So this is, I felt from your speech, and your voice was gentle. And when you was describing the two guards, I felt that I was there, because that's a sign of a great speaker, a person who can take us where we are and where as an audience to where they want us to go. This was really amazing. Like, and we felt that I really felt that I was there. And what I love most of all this speech was the storytelling. It really your imagination power is greater. And I really appreciate the fact that you made an attempt to address each and every section uh, of audience through the eye contact. And also you used lots of facial expression, and which was mandatory because you are telling the story. Or your vocal variety was good, your gestures good, appearance was good, body language perfect. And yes, but now talk about areas of improvement, that is recommendations. Your speech was powerful, but if the conclusion could have been more impactful, then it would have been wonders. Your speech was really amazing, but there is a lack of concluding part. And another suggestion I would suggest to you is that you uh, you speak your speech in a very low sound. So try to give a speech in a high vocal clarity. So it would be more understandable for the speaker, for the evaluators. And overall, your speech was amazing. And thank you. Over to moderator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kushi. Now we will have a 3-minute silence for the super evaluator to compile his evaluations. Till then, I request the Zoom master to share the certificates of participation. Thank you, Toastmaster Yash. I request the evaluators to please on their camera. Toastmaster Khushi, if you can. Toastmaster Bhavini as well. Can you please on your camera?
Recording in progress.
Thank you, everyone. I request Zoom Master to please spotlight Toastmaster Mayuri.
Spotlighted.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Mayuri, for participating and giving the evaluation. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mayuri. Second up, we have Toastmaster Syed. Hi, Toastmaster Syed. Thank you for participating and giving the evaluation. Congratulations.
Thank you for inviting me here. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Syed. Next, we have Toastmaster Bhavini. Hi, Toastmaster Bhavini. Thank you for participating and giving the evaluation.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you. Next, we have Toastmaster Khushi. Hi, Toastmaster Khushi.
Hello.
Thank you, Toastmaster Khushi, for participating and giving the evaluation. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Khushi.
Toastmaster Bhumi, I confirm that the 3 minutes are up.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gunjan. Hereby, I request our super evaluator for today, distinguished Toastmaster Joy, to share his evaluation.
Okay, cool. Well, good evening, everybody. I hope you guys can hear me. Awesome. Thank you,
Yes,
Syed, for the thumbs up. Lovely. This is a tough task because you have evaluators and then you have, again, me. But I'll try to do the best I can. Okay, good. Sharing screen is disabled. Lovely. So for all the other audience, when you evaluate something in your regular club meeting, you have an option of something known as a speech objective. You know what the speaker is going to speak. So very easily you just notice this is the objective, this is the objective. So this is what I'm going to do as a evaluator. But now when it comes to a speech contest, the speech does not have an objective. So how can you set an objective for this? So the first pro tip for all the evaluators who are going to pick up evaluation in a speech contest is the ISC ballot that you have for international speech contest is your speech objective for any contest related speech. So if you go through the ISC ballot, you will understand what are the major criteria needed to give a general good speech. Yes, thank you, buddy, over there. I just love this guy. So here it is. The first one is speech development is one of the first objectives which an evaluator should have. An eye on in the speech. So one of your comments should be on this if it is appropriate. The second is how effective the speech was. If the idea was an original idea, which one of these evaluators comment on. How was the overall physical part, that is the delivery. First is the content, that's 50 marks. So how much justice did Vamshi do to the content part? And then comes the delivery part. How good was he with his body language? How good was he with his mannerism? How good was he with his voice modulation? And the last objective is the language, on which you commented in a softer way. One is how appropriate was this speech to the audience, and the last thing is grammar. As an evaluator, we do not actually focus on this, but if there is any major thing, you can definitely put a comment on this. But this is your speech objective for any person who's giving a test speech from here onwards. Thank you for sharing this, buddy. So we will also, if you could share the judges ballot also, that would really help. Thank you. I just like this guy. So we'll go one by one. I have become a host, I think, because I can see who's coming in. So the first speaker that we had was Toastmaster Mayuri, distinguished Toastmaster Mayuri. What a phenomenal way she started her evaluation. She started first by appreciating the test speaker. It's a great way to start an evaluation. When you come, you make the audience, the judges, and the test speaker at ease by going ahead with a good appreciation at the beginning, which is a good technique. Another evaluator used a completely different technique, which was Bhavini. She came with some powerful statements as an opening statement to make. That was very good. She used some strong statements like uh, this. I have missed that statement. She said something like, "Slit the audience into your pocket," which was phenomenal. You can use this whenever you want. And then she said, "You made this speech feel like it was yours, even though it was not yours." That was like amazingly done. So the other two evaluators, I would request you to kindly focus a little bit on opening, because openings are very powerful. The first 30 seconds make a lot of impact. Now we are coming back to Mayuri again. So when Mayuri was talking, she made a very good statement at the beginning. And she also appreciated the speaker by saying that he was talking about the legend of Hercules, which is a very common topic. People would easily know about Hercules. Then she made a statement on the speech title, which was the Asian battles, which she brought up later as well, which was a good one. She had two good observations on the ballot. In the analytical quality, if you notice, there are 40 points. So this basically are what are the main key observations that as an evaluator you made. So the key evaluations which Mayuri as an evaluator made was she commented on the audience connect in the beginning itself. So that was the first observation. Then she also spoke on body language of the speaker, which she found was very good. So these were the two positive recommendations given by her. And then she spoke about two areas of improvement. So overall, there were 4 strong points. The areas of improvement were that the speech looked like interpretive reading, wherein it seemed like the speaker was reading, was one observation made by Toastmaster Mayuri. And then the next observation was made was how was the speaker impacted with this? Because in Toastmasters, speeches, especially, we prefer if the speech is yours and original. If you look at the ISC ballot, there are 15 points for being original. So in this complete speech from the beginning till the end was not an original speech. It was an extract of another speech or a story from somewhere. So she made these 4 key observations. So as a judge, when I'm evaluating her, I'll be marking her over here because she has done a fair 2 strong points and 2 areas of improvement, which is a very good observation. If you can do a 5 in this 2 minutes, it is an excellent thing to do. Preferably 3 strong points and little less areas of improvement. But now here is in the recommendations. Recommendations are what is the feedback that you're giving to a speaker so that Toastmaster Vamshi can go back to his club and immediately implement it. Now, was Toastmaster Mayuri and the rest of you able to do this? So Toastmaster Mayuri gave a feedback that when you're giving a speech, it should not seem like you're reading. So it should look like you're giving. So this is something which Toastmaster Vamshi can quickly go back and implement in his club, which was a good recommendation. Other than this, another good recommendation she gave was that your speech should be half of Hercules' story and half should be your story. So that's an excellent recommendation, which can be done by Toastmaster Vamshi immediately when he goes back to his club. Very handy recommendations. So as a judge, when I'm marking Toastmaster Mayuri, because she had 2 observations, so she made her comments also on these 2 statements, which was wonderfully done. And the mouse is somehow moving. I was thinking it's happening because of me. And Yash, your mouse is just running. There's a cat behind your mouse, I think. Okay. Now, in technique is one place where it was a little alarming because over here, I have a little feedback. So Oh, is it happening for everybody that the screen is moving here there, or it's just happening for me? There's a bug in my system. Okay. Okay. So Mayuri did something. She made a statement which would go against her when I'm evaluating her. The statement was, we should seriously, you should seriously consider this, was a very, very strong statement used by Mayuri, which I felt could be a little toned down because it might, if I'm a judge, I would feel that the speaker might get intimidated because of such strong use of language. The second place was a statement which was made that I was waiting for to hear your own story. So this was again it's a very, very strong, bold statement, which is correct as an evaluator. But I personally felt that it was a little bit more because the voice modulation and the overall body language added on to it, and it looked a little bit threatening to me personally. This is my observation. You can use that in a speech, definitely. And another statement, uh, another thing that I would like to recommend to Mayuri over here was that this one point was dragged a little bit for around 30 or 45 seconds, that there was nothing of yours. So it was only this story and nothing of your own. It was not your story. And I really wanted to see you. This point came up at least 3 or 4 times towards the end, which I felt that was a little bit, we could have maybe added another point over there. And conclusion, she has the most powerful conclusion out of all the four, which I really like. The strongest, one of the strongest opening and the strongest conclusion. And she made exactly the two statements which she used in the beginning. The secret of a good summary is, please remember, evaluators, one of you did not conclude. I will be coming to that. If you do not conclude as an evaluator, I will give you just 0 as a judge in the last criteria. Imagine losing 15 points at one go if you do not conclude properly. The second tip of a good conclusion is, you cannot add anything new, which one of you did. I will be coming to that also. But Mayuri concluded this beautifully. And that is the reason, as a judge, I would be giving her full marks on that and full marks on analytical quality. So this was my observations about the first evaluator. Now let's quickly move to Syed. So Syed, good to see you. I'm hearing you for the very first time. And you resemble of an animated movie where their guy will be getting ice out of his hands and he floats on that ice all the time. You have dressed up like that guy. I don't know that guy's name. He is in one of those series. Yash will know that gentleman. I don't know his name. And now, Syed, coming to you. So, Syed, you had a very interesting start. In the opening itself, you started your evaluation. So, you did not have a proper opening, but your opening was an evaluation. You just started. Let me begin by saying something that I really liked is from where you directly started your evaluation. And then you gave 2 strong points and 1 minus point at the beginning itself. And then you said, let's move to the major evaluation after that. And I was like, huh? So this was a minor evaluation and then you did a major evaluation. So, but you made very good points when you did that. So had you not used that statement, let's move to the major evaluation, you could have got away with this. But since you made that statement, now this was your opening. I really like that you stood at the beginning, and I really like that you used your body. But one thing I did not like is, and this was your tone, that I could not hear you. I was thinking whether this is a problem with mine. You kept on talking about that. This was your opening. So in your opening, if you start your evaluation, that is a challenge. So your opening should be an opening, like a speech, where you come, you maybe appreciate the speaker, or you do a nice opening, or you tell the speech structure, your speech structure, that I will do this. This is how I'm going to evaluate you, and that is the first observation that I have for you. So have a clean opening, okay? Then you made very good observations. Your first analytical thing, you have already given me 3 analysis there only. That standing was good, body language was good, voice was good. Now you gave me more. When you come to the major evaluation, now he'll be laughing. Why is this guy doing this again to me? I want you to remember it. Then you said, I like your expressions and your body language, which added on to your speech. Good observation. Then you said, I got into the story and you were in the story. You said, good observation. So you have already given me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you said one thing that I would like to recommend you is the transitions. You did not use any transitional words, which is another evaluation. So in analytical quality, I will give you full marks because you have given me too much. So that is good. But I would suggest you restrict it to 5 points. Usse zyada na judge ka thoda ho jata hai. So do not give me too much. You have given me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points already, which is okay. Now here is a special thing for you. You have a habit of saying thing is key, felt like key. So this is somewhere you might be marked down. Though we do not bother much about language in this. If you notice, there is nothing to do with language in this one, but some judges might mark you down. So this is a subconscious filler that you have. There were some things like key and I felt like key. So consciously work on this one. You need a little help over there. And then you said, then you concluded very well. And in the conclusion, you said you need to make sure that everything falls together in the end. So your conclusion also was very good. The major challenge that you have was you did not have a clear opening. That's the place where you will be marked down. And second is you did not have very clear recommendations for Vamshi, what he should do. You gave him some pointers. You gave him all observations, which is analytical quality, excellent. But what should he do? You have observed. अब मैं करूं क्या as a speaker आगे जाके is the area where you will have to work the next time. You have given him some minor points, but they are not enough substance for him to go back and improve immediately. When you go to this contest the next time, forget about the contest. You have to always give an evaluation in such a way that after listening to my evaluation, Vamshi should immediately go to the next speech and be able to implement one good thing that I will teach him today from my practice. So that recommendation is good. So आपका recommendation वाला area में marks थोड़े कट जाएंगे. Your technique was very good. You were very sympathetic towards him. And that is the place where Mayuri might get a little minus from me as a judge. Only that one area. Other than that, and recommendations, because she had only 2 recommendations. But you did not give me any recommendation. यहाँ पे आप थोड़े से mark down होंगे. Otherwise, overall your evaluation was good. I hope this is useful to you because I'm meeting you for the very first time and you might be like, इतना कैसे सुनता है ये आदमी? So let's quickly go to Bhavini. I've got 5 minutes and I need to wind up these 2 in the next 5 minutes. Bhavini, I really appreciate your opening. I have never seen anyone doing an opening like you. You came with a strong opening, bold statement. Now, if the opening statement is too cliche, the judges will think, हाँ ये पहले से पैटर्न तैयार करके आई है बच्ची और इसने अपना बीच में इवैल्यूएशन डाल दिया है. तो you have to be very careful when you choose that opening statement. It should go exactly with the speech. अगर थोड़ा भी ऐसा किसी जज को लगता है कि ये पहले से आप सैंपल बना के लाए हो और बस 2 minute नूडल्स पका रहे हो अपने इवैल्यूएशन में, तो प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा. So that is the place where you will get marked down. But I did not feel that at all because it was very good. So you had one of the most strongest opening after, like Mayuri. Then you gave me some strong pointers. You appreciated him about vocabulary. You used a strong word like gesticulation and expression, which was like OMG. And then you gave me 3 negatives, which was a little challenging क्योंकि आपने positive एक ही बताया और फिर 3 negative बता दिए. तो वंशी को mild cardiac arrest आने के बहुत ज़्यादा chances है आपकी evaluation के बाद में. So as a judge, I will be a little bit. So it means in your analytical quality, you are focusing more on the negatives, not on the positives. So आप as an evaluator negative ज़्यादा पकड़ पाए. So I as a judge, I will mark you down. So यहाँ पे बाकी दोनों ने बराबर इसमें जस्टिस किया है, पर आपने यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा हो गया. So your negative points are, you straightway told him that opening should not be more than 30 seconds. ये कहीं भी लिखा हुआ नहीं है basically. You can say that, but आप थोड़ा सा क्वेश्चन दे सकते हो 30 to 45 seconds. अगर आप कुछ जनरलिस्ट बोलोगे, it will be good. But it's a good recommendation जो आपने दिया. It's a powerful recommendation कि पर आपने यहाँ पे एक स्टेटमेंट यूज कर लिया जिसकी वजह से नेगेटिव हो गया. योर ओपनिंग वाज नेवर एंडिंग. तो वामशी को पहला माइल्ड हार्ट अटैक यहाँ पे आया. सो थोड़ा सा सॉफ्ट बोलेंगे तो टेक्निक में मैं आपके 5 मार्क सीधा काट दूंगा कि आप रूड थे. आप समझ रहे हो, हालांकि आप नहीं थे. यू वर जस्ट मेकिंग अ स्टेटमेंट, बट एज ए जज आई विल थिंक यू आर रूड, दो यू आर नॉट. योर टोन वाज गुड, योर एक्सप्रेशन वाज गुड. So that was an excellent observation. That is the opening. I didn't even know कि opening कहाँ खत्म हुई और speech कहाँ चालू हुई. मुझे भी feel हुआ और आपने पकड़ लिया, मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा. The second was the conclusion had no call to action, which is a very strong observation that you made. I really like that observation. And you said there was no justification done by him, and I'm getting a call in the middle. There's a trio call, but I will just decline this. And the next one is, you said that his voice was not clear and he need to work on himself. And this is the place where you won over everybody. You told him a very good thing, that you should record yourself and listen to it, and Vamshi can immediately go back and do this in his club. So in recommendations, I will score you the highest over everybody else, क्योंकि ये बहुत powerful था. आपने ये भी मुझे बताया कि आपकी इंट्रोडक्शन इतना होना चाहिए, इससे ज्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए. बहुत वेरी गुड रिकमेंडेशन. एंड आपने यही बोला कि आपने जस्टिफिकेशन नहीं दिया, कॉल टू एक्शन नहीं दिया. 3 रिकमेंडेशंस बहुत स्ट्रांग है. सो आउट ऑफ ऑल द इवैल्यूएटर्स इन रिकमेंडेशंस, यू विल बी द नंबर 1 फॉर मी. ओके, नाउ नेक्स्ट कम्स द कंक्लूजन. यहाँ पे मैं आपको नेगेटिव मार्क करूंगा, क्योंकि आपने कंक्लूजन में एक नया पॉइंट ऐड कर दिया, पॉजेस. आपने कहीं भी बीच में नहीं बोला. अगर ये पॉजेस आप पॉजिटिव में बोल देते तो ये आपको ऐड करता था, बट आपके यहाँ समरी में 1 या 2 पॉइंट में काट दूंगा, क्योंकि आपने एक नया पॉइंट ऐड कर दिया, पॉजेस, जो पहले आपने बोला नहीं था मुझे. सो दिस इज द only thing where you need to work in. Other than this, very strong conclusion, very strong opening, very good observation, and if you really work hard, you will be in the top 3 in pakka in division, and I can already see that. मयूरी के तो बात बोलने की जरूरत ही नहीं है, तो आपको मैं बोल दे रहा हूँ. You did a fab job. Let's come to Khushi, the last one. Hey Khushi, now Khushi will give him a heart attack, but a good one to him, because Khushi kept on saying wow points, and I was like, क्या चल रहा है यहाँ पे? So Khushi started, he said, you really wowed me when you started. I was wowed as an audience. That is the first positive. Then the second positive, you grabbed the audience. Then she said, third positive, your start was very good. And I was like, okay. And then she said, next positive, you were very confident. And then Khushi again said, your storytelling was very good. And then Khushi said, your eye contact was very good. And then Khushi said, your expression was very good. And I'm like, diabetes hone wala hai abhi Vamshi ko. And then Khushi continued, your voice clarity is very good. And Khushi said, your body language is very good. And then she said, I like your appearance. And I'm like, kya ho raha hai yahan pe? And that is the place where as a judge, I lost Khushi. Though your analytical quality is very good and you were able to observe fine minute things, but the problem I had was there was no clear opening and no structure to your evaluation. आप आप बहुत ज़्यादा तारीफ ज़्यादा कर दी आपने, तो मुझे ऐसा लगा as an evaluator you were too sugar coated for him. And यहाँ पे मैं आपको थोड़ा सा mark down कर दूंगा. The second thing that you told to him, the negative sheep, you again picked up 2 good points. That you used a statement which I do not prefer evaluators using. You said your speech was powerful, but जैसे बट बोलते हो ना तो पूरी पावर चली जाती है स्पीच. You should never use this particular statement, but you should conclude powerfully. You said your speech was powerful, but you could have concluded powerfully. So ये वाले word को Khushi please try to avoid. And the second one, a recommendation was an excellent recommendation, that you sounded low. Try to use a high volume. So both your recommendations are very strong, but that but word ruined everything for you. Overall, in summary, I will give you only 1 mark out of 15, but because you said overall the speech was amazing. Over to you. And I was like, kya hua yahan pe? Conclusion kahan hai? You just use 1 word for conclusion, that is amazing. So in this 15 marks, you will not score more than 1 mark from a Khadus judge like me, and I am a typically Khadus judge. And this is basically all the observations that I have for all of you. I hope this helped you. If any of you want to say or ask me anything, please do that right now. If I have time, I do not know if I have that because I have exceeded my time level. I will hand it back to moderator Bhumi. So I hope I was not too blunted.
No, you are not. Thank you so much, distinguished distinct Toastmaster Joy. We had the wonderful points. I was really noting each and every point, so that when I am going for the evaluation contest, I can keep that all in mind and read it before I am giving the evaluation. So thank you so much. For the benefit of time, you all can drop your questions in this chat box and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. I thoroughly enjoyed being the moderator for today's evaluation, and I thank you all for coming. I acknowledge the presence of all district officers present in the meeting. Thank you all for having me. Now I give the stage back to our Sajajanam Toastmaster, Radhika, for closing the meeting.
Okay. Thanks all. It's an amazing meeting. And I request
Sorry, Toastmaster Radhika, for interrupting. Sorry, my bad. I have to give it to Toastmaster Dipalika. So please help me welcome our division director of Division N, Toastmaster Dipalika. Over to you, Toastmaster Dipalika.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Bhumi. Thank you, all the evaluators, all the participants, the role players, and our super evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Joy, for being with us today evening. I would like to thank you for specifying everything related to evaluation, all the tips that we can get, all the good points, the not so good points, pointing out to everyone what can be improved. Thank you so much for your feedback. We have Toastmaster Radhika as a Sergeant at Arms. Thank you so much for opening the meeting on time and maintaining the decorum. Thank you. We have Toastmaster Anubhuti as a Sergeant at Arms. Thank you, Toastmaster Anubhuti, for being there in the breakout room as a Sergeant at Arms. We have Toastmaster Gunjan, who was the timer for the day. Thank you for showing the timer cards. I really liked the first slide where it was mentioned as the evaluation marathon and you kept on moving from one side to the other. Thank you so much. Toastmaster Anjali, thank you for being the timer too and keeping the timings and everybody of us on time. We have Toastmaster Bhumi, the moderator for today's meeting, for conducting the evaluation in a very smooth manner, for transitioning. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Bhumi. We have Toastmaster Yash, the man behind the Zoom, the one who is invisible, but the one who is very quick in showing everything and sharing every other material that is required. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Yash, for being there. I thank all the evaluators. I thank our test speaker, Toastmaster Vamsi, and obviously our audience for joining us in this evaluation marathon day 2. We have another 3 days of evaluation marathon. Please to join us at the same time. The meeting links will be shared very soon with all of you. Thank you so much. Over to you, Toastmaster Bhumi.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Dipalika. Now I request Sergeant at Arms to please come on stage. Over to you, Toastmaster Radhika.
Yeah, so I hope it was a great learning experience for you all. I hereby declare the meeting as closed. Thank you all so much for joining.